Well, Buckeye Nation, we are live again. Welcome to the show once more. We appreciate you joining us here
Peter, you
this
got to take
evening.
that down, man.
Hold on. We appreciate you joining us this evening, and we thank you for joining us this evening. And sorry I said that 7 times, but Rob is going to Ohio State, Penn State this weekend. I am going to Oregon at Michigan. I will see the nation's number 1 team play. Rob will see the nation's number 3 and 4 teams play. College football playoff rankings are right around the corner. The first rankings, I believe, come out next week, but I'm not sure. I have not kept up as I normally would at this point in the season. But either way, they are coming out soon, and we're going to project the top 4 rankings after this weekend. Not what they are right now, what they might be right now, but what they'll be after this weekend's games. The top 4 teams we'll look at. We're obviously going to break down Ohio State, Penn State in full detail on this live tonight. And, of course, we're going to break down Oregon at Michigan and what we expect from Michigan's quarterback NIL situation. Rumored $10 million is on the board to get Bryce Underwood, who is just up the street in Belleville, Michigan, to switch his commitment from the LSU Tigers to the Michigan Wolverines. I don't think that's going to happen, but Rob, welcome on into the show. How was your week been, man? What's been going on? What's good? Are you excited to go to Happy Valley?
It's been going great, dude. So I'm gonna be in a classroom for the next 2 weeks. They asked me if I wanted to fill in if I wanted to fill in. So that's gonna be nice. But other than that, dude, like I am so stoked. My wife and I, we're going to the Penn State Ohio State game. Happy Valley top 4 showdown. Each game that's been Happy Valley, it's been down to the wire. And the last time that Ohio State played in Happy Valley, JT Tuimoloau went off, and I'm expecting that to happen again. All right, I'm predicting that he's gonna come alive like he did last time. 2 interceptions. One of those was a pick 6, a fumble recovery, a strip sack. You name it. It happened. He had a game. But I also want to call out CBS college football because they posted a game of the 2016 whiteout, and they said the last time Ohio State played in Happy Valley, and I'm just like, what? No, that's not the last time. But dude, I'm stoked, man. So I got a good deal for this game. So what I do is I buy tickets after the national championship game. We are lower end zone section NG, and I got them for 142 each. Now they're going for 250.
And that was with fees and all that, services all included?
Yeah, man.
Dang, that's a good deal, bro.
Well, I mean, good deal. I think at the end of the day, so I think at the end of the day it was close to 400. Okay, I forgot that, but it's still a good deal, man.
Oh, I see.
I mean, 256 a piece right now. That's $512. $512 plus the service.
I need to get me a wifey one of these days that enjoys going to football games as well.
She's a Penn State fan, by the way, so it's gonna be fun.
Either divided.
Yeah, either I'm gonna be in a bad mood on the drive back to Pittsburgh, or she's gonna be in a bad mood.
We're not listening to music on the way home, honey. Sorry, I'm pissed off. Or if we do, it's gonna be Screamo or something.
But just know that we're gonna be listening in on that Oregon-Michigan game. So
yeah. You know what? It's probably, like I said, I'm going to the Oregon-Michigan game this weekend. I got tickets for under $70, or one ticket for under $70. I got a friend I went to school with that's an Oregon fan. He's coming up for the game, and he's going to go to the game, and we're going to meet up after the game. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, and it won't be hard to find each other because Michigan Stadium is going to be really empty. So it'll be fun to see some Oregon fans there celebrating, waving their flag, probably spiking midfield with their own Oregon O flag. We'll see what happens. But either way, Hopefully the Oregon Ducks are going to win. I don't want to pay $70 to see Michigan win. I don't think I've ever paid for a Michigan ticket over $20. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm like, well, I decided the number one team is coming to town. I'm going to watch them play, and I'd like to see Dylan Gabriel and see what he's got now. Oregon and Michigan have only played twice. We'll get to that in a second, but Oregon has won both those games. First off, Ohio State, Michigan, or yeah, Ohio State, Michigan. No, Ohio State, Penn State is on the deck for this weekend. It is the focus of the nation's attention. Rob, I know you got a lot to say on this matchup, but break down the offense first for me, either for Penn State or Ohio State, whatever you want to do.
All right, so I'll break down Ohio State's offense versus Penn State's defense. And you know what? The Penn State's defense and Ohio State's defense, it's really close, but you'll hear about that. So
right.
Ohio State, the ninth ranked total offense, averaging 471 yards per game. Penn State defense, fourth in the country, giving up 267.6 yards per game. Passing offense for Ohio State is 22nd with 283 yards per game. Penn State's passing defense is 18th in the country, giving up 174.6 yards per game. Rushing offense, 35th.
Ohio State is?
Yep, Ohio State's 35th, averaging 108 yards per game. Something to look at. They had two games, Oregon, Nebraska, where they didn't even eclipse 80 rushing yards. Why is that? Because of the left side, the loss of Josh
Simmons.
Josh Simmons. Yeah, the loss of Josh Simmons, and Mahalski's been put in there. So we'll see who's starting at left tackle. But going on, Penn State's rushing defense, 8th in the country, only giving up 93.0 yards per game. So, Ohio State's third down offense, 37th in the country. Out of 82 attempts, 36 have been successful, and they were terrible for the Nebraska game. They were 1 for 10, so they better get on that for this game. Penn State's third down defense, 26th in the country. Out of 95 attempts, they've given up 31. Sacks allowed, Ohio State's 13th. They've given up 7 sacks.
That has been the good thing, right?
For this game, yeah, that's a good thing. You know, it shows that there's an opportunity here to isolate Abdul Carter, who is a complete monster. Penn State has averaged 14 sacks this year, and Abdul Carter has accounted for 4. So if they can isolate Abdul Carter and not let them exploit that left side of the line, they'll be fine. But if what happens against Ohio State happens when they played Nebraska, then it's game over. Let's be honest, it's possibly game over. Ohio State's red zone offense, extremely efficient. They're ranked second, and they've been 100% successful. And the good thing about this is it's been mostly pass touchdowns. Red zone defense for Penn State, 27th in the country. And Ohio State's time possession is 61st in the country. All right. So you ready to hear Penn State offense versus Ohio State defense?
Not yet. Let's break some of that down, man. Let's break it down. Abdul Carter, you mentioned him, all right? How are we going to neutralize freaking Abdul Carter? How are we going to do it?
I think at the end of the day, either Donovan Jackson or I know, the thing that kills me is Hinsman is not available.
I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. So are you hearing that Donovan Jackson does not want to move to left tackle? If so, who's left to move to left tackle that can be efficient?
Freshman. They're not going to be efficient.
So an unproven freshman who Abdul Carter could wipe the floor with. Man, see, this is what I'm saying.
Scary.
Justin Fry has completely screwed over Ohio State's potential national championship season. It's embarrassing. If this was if this is a real national championship team, the loss of Josh Simmons wouldn't affect them much, but it does, and it's shown the lack of recruiting with the offensive line for the past 3 years. And anybody who's viewing, go on 24/7, look at the 2025 recruiting for Ohio State, and you will see that they only have 2 offensive linemen committed. It's just gonna get worse. But I don't want to go off on a side tangent. They better get it fixed, or it could be a long day. And what I'm not surprised, what I'm surprised with is they had 2 weeks to get it right with that bye week before they played Nebraska, and they didn't get it right. Let's face it, Mahalski, and I said this before. For some, Ohio State is a dream school, and for some, Ohio State's a reality. This dude is a senior. It's as good as it's going to get with him, and it's not good at all. And
it's not good, is it, man? This is what I think they're going to do. I actually watched urban analysis on the O-line and Michalski, right? He did not sugarcoat it. He's Urban Meyer. But what we were doing in the second half to help him was we were double teaming. So Jackson and Michalski were double teaming the edge defender or the defensive end for Nebraska. We're gonna have to do that with Abdul Carter. Not only does he demand double teams, but Michalski or whoever's going to be there, a freshman, whoever it's going to be, is not going to be prepared for the moment, and be prepared for some frustrating false starts. Let me tell you that as well.
I mean, it's going to be loud. My wife and I, we were in Happy Valley last season for the Penn State Michigan game. It was so loud. I thought my eardrums were going to burst. No joke. I may be getting those cheap earplugs from like Meyer.
There you go, bro. Do what you got to do.
I may have to do it, man. I may have to do it.
Protect those eardrums.
Definitely.
I mean, it's going to be fun, man.
Yeah, definitely. All right. The Penn State offense versus.
Well, actually, one more thing I did want to comment on.
All right.
How do you think we can run the ball? Because Penn State, you mentioned, has the 8th best rush defense. Bro. Is it going to be a pass fest in that environment?
I think that they're going to have to turn to Will Howard again. I think with the receivers they have, it's going to be too much. J.J. Smith, Emeka Buka, Carnell Tate, a star in the making. It's crazy that he, as good as he is, and this just shows how good Ohio State's wide receiver room is. He's the 3rd wide receiver who's mentioned. I mean, J.J. Smith is a freak of nature. Emeka Buka is going to be a 1st rounder, and as good as we've seen Carnell Tate, he's the third guy who's mentioned. That's how good Ohio State's wide receiver room is. But here's the thing. Ryan Day in this game, and this is what's going to drive me crazy if he does this. So when you have a team on the ropes with passing, which they've done in the past, passing has been really effective, and then all of a sudden you're calling plays to run the left tackle, run the right tackle, doing these short wide receiver screens. It's very discouraging, because it's just like, okay, you just marched on the field 30-40 yards. You have the team on their heels, and now you're about to run and get like 1 or 2 yards of carry and continue to do it when it's not working.
It's frustrating.
And let me tell you something else. If I see that shoot look on Ryan's face and it's a close game in the last minutes, we're losing. The game's over. All right. Don't get on the bus, Ryan Day. Don't come to Columbus. But you know what? Michigan will have you so they can laugh at you.
I think I'm fairly confident. My confidence is waning a little bit from what it was earlier this week, but I still am confident we'll be victorious. But moving on to the defensive, man, what do you think? How do we match up with them?
All right, let's look at the stats. Penn State offense versus Ohio State's defense. Penn State has the 13th ranked total offense, averaging 463.7 yards per game. Dang. Ohio State is
That's good.
Second in the country in defense, giving up 254.4 yards per game. But this is something to note. Versus the last top 5 team they played, they gave up over 500 yards. And something else with Jim Knowles' defense, and this is really concerning. When they played Michigan twice, when they were in the top 5, when they played Georgia, when they played, obviously when they played Oregon, they gave up over 400 yards. And it's because Jim Knowles' defense, and so what he does, the lack of, I mean, there's pressure, but they don't convert that pressure into sacks.
They don't get home.
It's like they're engaging, they're waiting to see which way the ball goes, they disengage and they chase it down. You can't do that. This is not the same Drew Aller. This is a better version than last season. And like, they may not have elite wide receivers, because I saw last game when they played Wisconsin, the ball was the catches were dispersed. Somebody had 60 yards, somebody had 40, somebody had 80. But the fact is, he'll get the ball to them. If we can't get pressure, it's very discouraging. It's killing me. But
let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
Who's the starting quarterback? Drew Aller didn't play the second half last week. Is he the starting quarterback, or is it Bo Perbula?
As far as I've seen so far, Aller has been practicing this season.
Yeah.
This week, I mean, and there's no way that he sits out this game. It's too big of a game. Big Ten championship dreams alive. College football playoff dreams alive.
It's a team he grew up rooting for. He's playing, right?
And he more than likely wants to redeem himself for last season. I mean, that was a terrible game last season that he had. So he's looking for redemption as well.
Yeah, fully agree with that, man. Fully agree. Follow-up question. Who would you rather play? Who would you rather start, I'm saying? And that's a weird question. I get that. I know. But I saw Bo Perbula play last week, and I was like, dang, this kid's got game. And moxie.
You know what? Drew Aller was named the starter for a reason. I don't want there to be any excuses if Ohio State wins this game. I don't want there to be, Drew Aller was out. I don't care. I don't want any excuses. I want everybody to be at full strength.
Yeah.
And believe me, this is going to be a dogfight till the end. All right. Pass offense. Penn State is 30th in the country, averaging 266 yards per game. Ohio State's pass defense, 8th in the country, giving up 163.1 yards per game. Rushing offense, 29th in the country for Penn State, averaging 197.1 yards per game. Something to take note of. Singleton and Allen both have went for 100 or more yards versus AP top 25 teams. But good thing Ohio State has the 6th ranked rush defense, giving up only 91.3 yards per game. So they need to be laser focused. They need to get after it. They need, as soon as you see Singleton or Catron Allen get the ball, if it's a screen, pass out in the flats, handoff, they need to swarm him. Engage and swarm. So third down offense for Penn State. They are 7th in the country. Out of 80 attempts, 40 have been successful. Ohio State third down defense, out of 100 attempts, they've given up 32, which they're 20th in the country. Sacks allowed. Penn State is 13th in the country, only giving up 7. And Ohio State's team sacks, 21st in the country, 20 on the season, 2.86 per game.
Wow.
And so this next piece, the red zone offense versus the red zone defense, is very crucial because let's be honest, the only reason why Nebraska lost that game was because they had to settle for field goals. If one of those red zone possessions goes differently, we would be talking about Ohio State loss all week. So Penn State has the 16th ranked red zone offense. Ohio State has the 10th ranked red zone defense, and Penn State's time possession is 28. So after looking at it, Ohio State has a better offense. Their rush offense is very concerning right now, but at the end of the day, they have a lot more talent. They have a high powered passing game.
Yeah.
And I don't have any doubts if Ohio State gets in the red zone, because again, they've been 100% efficient with red zone offense.
Yeah.
And most of it has been passing. So
something I noticed, excuse me, our last two games, teams have effectively rushed to the outside against us. Both Oregon did it, Nebraska studied that tape, and they did it well. Penn State does not run to the outside, but I suspect there'll be some runs with Allen and Singleton, some misdirection, some counter trays, things of that nature to get their backs, their talented backs, because they are talented. Singleton and Allen are monsters. What do you think? There has to be a counterpunch from Jim Knowles, because now 2 games in a row it's been successful, whereas Iowa tried to run up the middle and got nothing all game. Penn State is a run between the tackles team. How do you think they attack us? Do they go outside? Do they mix things up? Do they stick to their identity?
Well, here's what I've seen against teams that, try those plays on the outside. What ends up happening, and they're mostly going on JT Tuimoloau's side. And why is that? Because he's not setting the edge.
He's not disengaging.
He's not only not setting the edge, but he's getting blocked in way too easily. He's got to get low. He's got to set the edge. And then as soon as he's the ball carrier, he's got to get off that block and get after the running back. Like, he's not doing that. A good amount of those plays that you've seen, they are on his side. There's no the type of season that Jack Sawyer's had, there's no way that they're going to go his side. They've seen what JT Tuimoloau has been doing, and that's why they've gone to his side a good amount of the time.
Yeah, man. The other key thing in this game, you're totally right on that, by the way. I hope they make some adjustments, because like you said, JTT had a monster game 2 years ago, and he had a good game a year ago versus Penn State as well. So he plays well versus Penn State for some reason. And but this matchup here, Day versus Franklin, who has more pressure to win this game? Day is 2-6 versus top 5 teams. Franklin is 1-12 versus top 5 opponents.
Wait, I thought Day was 1-5.
No, he's 2-6. That stat was confirmed this week. It's been repeated all week. I'm not sure who's been saying it, but I've heard it. I've heard it repeated all week. So
I saw 1-5, and Franklin has won one game as well, because the last game that Franklin won.
Yeah, Franklin's won. He's 1-12 versus top 5 opponents. Yeah, or top 10 opponents.
I truly think that Day is 1-5, because the last team they beat that was a top 5 team.
It might be versus top 10, then I don't know, but I don't think so, though.
It was 2020 Clemson. If we're talking top 5 teams, which I think I saw that stat, that's why I said in one of my videos, he's 1-5, and his last win was against Clemson, the 2020 college.
I mean, you might be right, but I've heard multiple people say it, so I'm not sure what's right.
What was the other team then? Because I
think Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame was top 5.
No, they weren't.
Well, I think they were, bro.
They were like 7 or 8, man, in that game. There's no way.
I think one of the years they were a top 5 opponent.
It wasn't the 2023 season, and it wasn't.
No, I think it was 2022 though. I think they were top 5.
I'll look that up, but anyway,
I'm not sure. But either way, I'm saying is I've heard people say it. So
all right. So who has more pressure? I'd say Ryan Day has more pressure, because Ohio State is a pressure cooker. We're talking about a coach who has lost 8 games. He's undefeated against unranked teams. He's doing a good job, but he could get fired because he's lost to Michigan 3 years in a row. I'd say that there's a lot of pressure on Day. We're talking about the $20 million NIL spend. We're talking about how this is the most talent, according to Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel, that's ever been on Ohio State's roster. So, I mean, plus the amount of hype that the media is given, amount of hype that a good amount of Ohio State fans are given,
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure. And again, his record against top 5 teams, it doesn't look good at all. But if Ohio State does win, they won't get the credit because James Franklin and Penn State haven't beaten Ohio State since 2016. And then people are like, well, it was expected. The last time that Penn State beat Ohio State was in Happy Valley in a whiteout game in 2016. So
Right.
they have an 8-game losing streak. But, here's the thing with Penn State. Yeah, they're looking to get over that hump, but I can just tell that they're content with what James Franklin is doing. I mean, that's just the standard of Penn State football. We're gonna be in the Big Ten championship hunt each season. We're gonna end up at the Rose Bowl or some New Year's six game. We're gonna blow out that team. Let it be now not the Pac-12, but maybe someone in the Big 12. So I don't think they'd fire James Franklin if, he didn't win this game. I just don't see that happening because, again, both these programs have the same question in mind. If they were thinking about that, who's out there, who's better? In the the market, it's not good right now. So,
Well, I agree. I think Day has more pressure. I did just look it up. It must be Notre Dame because Michigan wasn't top 5 in 2019. I can't think of anybody else who would be over. So I don't know. I'm seeing 2-6. I see that Urban Meyer was 6-2 versus top 5 teams in his tenure. So very different records, by the way. Now he blew the games that Day never loses. So pick your poison, I guess, maybe.
yeah.
But yeah, the pressure is on Day. The media is laughing a bit. The Big Ten is laughing a bit at Ryan Day. They don't think he can win the big one. I think I'm not an excuse maker. I'm not. But just hear me out when I say this. If Josh Simmons stays healthy, Ohio State wins. He didn't, so we lost. And so I'm not saying, just like Marvin Harrison, if he hadn't been hit and concussed, we would have won the game. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying there was an opportunity to win that game and run all over Oregon and honestly run away with the game and kill the clock. We didn't capitalize, and that's Ohio State's fault. It's nobody else's fault. Okay, so I'm just putting it like that. Ohio State should have won in Oregon in Eugene, but they didn't win the game. Oregon, to their credit, won the game, and Ryan Day has more pressure than James Franklin because everybody expects Franklin to lose. Ohio State's the favorite team, even though Penn State's the home team. The Buckeyes are favored by 3 points. I think it was 3.5. Now it's 3 points. So a field goal, okay? Home field is worth what? Usually 2 to 3 points, according to what most people say. The pressure is on Day and Ohio State, man, because they have national title expectations. If Penn State wins this game, they're likely 12-0 headed to Indy. They don't play anybody tough the rest of the year. I think they play Indiana, I think. So they do have to face them. They don't even play Indiana?
The scenario. So this is what they talk about the scenario. God. Oregon. So Penn State doesn't play Indiana, Oregon. Indiana doesn't play Penn State, Oregon, or Michigan. Actually, no, Indiana plays Michigan, and Oregon doesn't play Penn State or Indiana. So there could be a tiebreaker scenario where all teams are undefeated heading, come Big Ten championship time. And there could be, based on a tiebreaker. So,
hey, man, that's why I was so pissy that when the tiebreakers weren't announced till like a week before the season this year. But it is what it is. We know what they are now. That's Ohio State, Penn State in a wrap. Are you ready to give a score prediction, or do you want to hang on to that?
Well, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a defensive dogfight. But Ohio State's passing attack is just going to be way too much. They have 3 first-round wide receivers on that field. They have, Will Howard. I just saw that stat. Will Howard is only a little bit behind in terms of stats of Dylan Gabriel in the Big Ten. So
yeah, just 1 touchdown.
Yeah, just 1 touchdown. So he needs to play a brilliant game. Chip Kelly needs to call a brilliant game.
That's the thing that's the difference for me. Scheme the win. Chip Kelly and Ryan Day are going to scheme us to victory.
So I do have my keys to win if you want me to read them.
Go for it, bro.
All
Let me
right.
hear it. Let me hear it.
Ohio State's key to win. Key to win. Isolate Abdul Carter, establish run game, shut down Allen Singleton, and stick to what works. In terms of if you have them on the rope, if you have Penn State on the ropes with passing, stick with passing. And if the run game's not working, it's not working. But
Yeah.
stick to what works. For Penn State, control time possession, keep that high-powered Ohio State passing offense off the field as much as possible.
Yeah.
Can't settle for field goals in the red zone. That's why Nebraska lost.
Yeah.
Again, if Nebraska would have had one scenario in the red zone go right, we're talking about a different outcome in that game. And exploit the left side of the line. They're more than likely looking at the Nebraska game. And again, what's going against Ohio State is there's a lot of tape out there with weaknesses for the Buckeyes. And trust me, Penn State has been studying it. So exploit the left side of the line, just like Nebraska did. So I think in the dogfight, Ohio State wins 27-24.
I've got Ohio State 24-17. I think it'll be a slightly lower scoring than that. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I think we win by touchdown. You say by field goal? Is it a last second field goal?
No, I think
you just hang on.
I think they just hang on, man.
Okay. All right, man. Well, that's Ohio State, Penn State. You'll be there. You're doing some live videos. Well, not live videos, but you'll be doing a video from Happy Valley. I will be at this game here in Ann Arbor. Oregon at Michigan. Dylan Gabriel, the nation's #1 team, come to town. Tez Johnson, Evan Stewart, and the spitting monsters that are the Oregon Ducks. They come to Ann Arbor into Michigan Stadium. They look to beat the two Big Ten powers in their first year in the conference. They're looking to win a Big Ten championship. They're looking to get a 1 seed in the playoffs. We're going to talk about the playoffs in just a little bit, of course. But let's break down this matchup a little bit, man.
I got the stats, man.
Dan Lanning and his crew, obviously undefeated, #1 team in the country. They are heavily favored, 14-point favorites. The biggest favorite against the Wolverines in a long time, despite Ohio State whooping their hiney up and down the field for years. We have never been a 14-point favorite in the Big House.
I thought it was 15.5. I thought that was the line.
They probably jumped, but it opened at 14.
All right.
So, in this matchup, man, Jordan James and the Oregon offense, what are they going to do to attack the big and beastly defensive line of the Wolverines with Grant and Graham and Josiah Stewart? How are they going to run that football, run that rock?
They're going to beat with speed. If you watch if you paid really close attention to what Texas did.
Thank you.
What Texas did, they took all their speed. They're like, nope, we're not going to try to run down their throats with Mason Graham and Ken Grant, the first round picks in the defensive line, by the way.
Of course.
We're not going to risk that. So what they did is they ran outside the edges with their speed. And I think that's in Oregon, they have a lot more speed. They have a more deadlier offense. You saw it against Ohio State, who has the second ranked defense in the country. So, and I don't like how Wink Martindale, for all the hype that he got, he's apparently the godfather of the Baltimore Ravens system. I don't like the type of games he's been calling. I don't think it's great.
I do.
I mean, yeah, in terms of what Ohio State fans think, great. But, if you ask Michigan fans, they're calling him Don Brown Jr. They're saying he needs to go. They're saying he's stubborn. And here's one of the aspects that I looked at. I think he's been away from the game for too long in terms of college.
Well, he's not a recruiter either, I don't think.
He's not a recruiter. Because if you look at Chip Kelly, his last college game coach before he went back to UCLA was I think 2010, 2011. And when he came back, it was just too long. And, the game left him behind. He just wasn't successful. And Mac Brown, I think the last game he coached at Texas, I think that was around the same time. He came back. He was doing okay with North Carolina, but the game has left him behind. I think that's what happened with Wake Martindale. The game has left him behind. He's not good for college.
It's like Rich Rod when his offense got stale. He didn't know what to do. So
Yeah.
this is defense. Same kind of deal. Teams know how to beat his defense now.
Yeah, I mean, like they're top 25 in team sacks with 21.0, but
Okay.
I think they are like 90 sack. They have the 94th pass defense.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Will Johnson?
yeah. They have the 94th pass defense in the country.
That's a real stat.
I think they're giving up almost 280. Actually, no, it's actually a little bit over 300 yards per game. So
that's bad, bro. That's real bad.
Yeah, it is bad, but good. They have a really good rush defense. I think they're 35th in the country. But here's the thing: they got rushed on by Michigan State for 163 yards.
Dang, yeah, Nick Carter went off.
That's something to definitely look at there.
In the ground and in the air is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that does not bode well for Oregon and their beast mode offense, does it?
No, it doesn't.
How many points do you think Oregon scores in this football contest, bro?
Man,
I've got 45.
Yeah, I have 45 too. Their offense is just too high potent. It's too high powered. Dan Lanning's gonna have them laser focused. He's gonna remind them that, hey, we control our own destiny, not only to the Big Ten championship game, but to being the #1 overall seed and getting a bye in the college football playoffs. He's not going to let it get in their heads that they're the best team in the country, and they are going to be laser focused, and they're going to come to the Big House to prove a point against the defending national champions. The reason why I say defending national champions is because Michigan loves to brag about that left and right. So you know what? You guys they have a target on their back, and Dan Lanning is letting his team know, like, hey, like, see what this team did last year? We're going to let them know that we're the dominant team in the Big Ten, and we're here to stay.
They're trying to make that statement, no question about it. Defensively, the Ducks, man, they're not quite as good defensively. Ohio State kind of had their way with them until Josh Simmons went down, of course.
I don't even want to hear about, you know what? They're going to be fine. Michigan has the 124th ranked total offense, only averaging about 300 yards per game. But Michigan is toast. They're toast. 124th total offense, 52nd rush offense, passing offense, 129th. Third down conversion, 63rd in the country. Out of 103, only 42 have been successful. Oregon's defense is not bad. 12th ranked offense, only giving up 297.2 yards per game. 41st rush defense. Their pass defense is better than their rush defense. Their pass defense is 16th in the country, but they don't have to worry about passing, so they're more than likely going to be planning for the run game and someone accounting for Alex Orji when he comes in, every once in a while to rush, because we already know what it's going to be when little Alex Orji comes in.
Oh, Alex Orji.
Man. What gets me is a lot of Michigan fans said that Alex Orji's ceiling was higher than Will Howard's. We all know how that's going. So,
well, we know Michigan fans don't know ball like that.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I have it 45-10. I'll put it like that. 45-10.
Yeah. I mean, like,
it's going to be bad, bro.
It's going to, and here's the thing. I was listening on Michigan Voice of College Football, and they had the conversation of, is Michigan back? And I'm just like, no,
really?
Michigan's not. Yeah, they had the conversation of Michigan's back, and I'm thinking, no, Michigan's not back. This isn't like, I mean, it's a good win for the state of their program. It's a little bit improvement, but don't get things twisted. That was, and I said this before, that was two average teams playing for bowl eligibility and Michigan coaches coaching to keep their jobs. That's it. Those weren't two good football teams. I mean,
No.
this wasn't Ohio State and Oregon going against each other, battle the Titans gladiators. This
Right.
was two, okay, average teams, a little bit of fireworks here and there, but nothing special.
Teams that are going to have between 4 to 6 losses at the end of the season.
And then they're going back to saying, well, Warren should have been the starting quarterback since the beginning. Well, Warren's 3 starts. He had 2 interceptions per game. I mean, yeah, he has the most passing yards with 444, but still, like, he's very turnover prone. Michigan has a quarterback problem, and that's all there is to it.
Let's continue on that vein. Michigan is rumored to be spending over $10 million to lure local recruit Belleville, Michigan quarterback, number 1 quarterback in the country, Bryce Underwood from Belleville, Michigan, 15 minutes away. He's going to LSU. He's going to go to LSU, but Michigan's trying to buy him. After complaining all offseason about how Ohio State bought their team, no, illegitimate team. No, we brought in 6 transfers, homie. You know how many Indiana brought in? 31, bro.
Let me just read you these stats from J.J. McCarthy, because he was the last good quarterback that Michigan had. He's an outlier, by the way. Before him, there was no one really. I guess John O'Corn, but so J.J. McCarthy stats for the national championship game: 10 for 18, 140 yards. Corman Edwards had 26 carries, 238 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The other big game, Penn State, 7 out of 8, 60 yards, 0 touchdowns. Corman Edwards, 36 carries, 197 yards, 3 TDs. Do you really think that Bryce Underwood is going to come to Michigan to hand the ball off that many times? You are out of your mind. He's not gonna come for all the money in the world. And it's horrific that Michigan's offenses this year, he's not coming. He's going, you know why he's going to LSU? One, because he's seeing what Jaden Daniels is doing in the league. He's seeing that Jaden Daniels came from Arizona State, won the Heisman under Brian Kelly, and he's seeing how their offense revolves around the quarterbacks, and they actually get them good wide receivers, which Michigan hasn't gotten one. So Michigan's identity, we all know what their identity is. Smash and dash. That's it. They play smash mouth football. And you know what? Dave Portnoy can throw all the money he wants at him. It doesn't matter, because in order to have the deal done, you need to change the system. I don't think Sharon Moore is going to do that. I think they're going to continue to play smash mouth football, recruit those running backs, recruit the big offensive linemen. They just got Andrew Balboa. And, I don't think Underwood's going to come to Michigan to be a complimentary quarterback to a high-powered run offense. I mean, that's basically what J.J. McCarthy was doing. And you know what? Bryce Underwood is going to want to shine during those big games. He's not going to want to, be in the background and have all these running backs overshadow him. Right. He wants to be solidified as possibly a number 1 pick, a first-round pick, and I don't think it's going to happen. And again, I don't want to hear about McCarthy. He's an outlier. Bryce Underwood's not coming. Michigan's desperate. And here's the other thing. Michigan fans have been dogging Ohio State for being mercenary you, just throwing the bag. Ohio State doesn't get players who actually want to come play for Ohio State. They get players who just want to come for the money. So what is Michigan doing now? They're hypocrites. They're saying, well, we need to maximize NIL. But here's the thing. Bryce Underwood's first choice is LSU. Michigan knows it. They're desperate. So they're paying for a guy whose first choice wasn't Michigan. So the tables have turned, and I'm loving every moment of it.
Thank you. And that was this week's awesome rant of the week. Man, I love it. I'll tell you what, man, it irks me because I hear my mentor saying it. I hear every Michigan fan squawking it. They've been saying it all off season, bro. Y'all a bunch of mercenaries. You bought your team. If you win a title, it's a bought title. It don't freaking count. Michigan won the last real national title. Man, F off, dude. If you don't want to get it with modern day college football, get out of here, dude. Like, there's no going back. Like, NIL is here to stay. Like, every year, a player at Ohio State and at Michigan is giving Beats by Dre to their entire team. Like, CJ Stroud bought suits for his entire squad. Like, it's a different era, okay? Players are going to make money. If you don't want to play the game, go join Chicago. Go join the Ivy League. Freaking get out of here, dude. Get out of the Big Ten if you don't want to play the game. Real talk.
Yeah,
That's how I feel because you're complaining. We brought in 6 players. Oh, $20 million. Well, freaking pay $25 million for 7 players then.
yeah, I feel like it's just gonna be like a battle now because at the end of the day, they also have to keep up with Oregon, Oregon and Ohio State in terms of
Yeah.
NIL, or they're just gonna lose the talent. But now my point is they're trying to get a player with a bag who actually doesn't want to come to Michigan. The only reason why he'd be going to Michigan is because of the bag. So are they going to be mercenary you? Are they going to get a top player who's only interested in the money? I mean, here's the other thing about that contract, that fat bag
Yeah.
that they're offering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if he sits, he's still making that money, and there's no way that
You
he's
know
gonna
what?
come. There's no way he's gonna come to Michigan and sit behind Jaden Davis. And don't say, well, you know what, Jaden Davis should just go. They're putting a lot of time, they're putting a lot of effort to develop Jaden Davis so he's ready for
Yeah.
next season.
Yeah.
Bottom of the
Agreed.
line, Bryce Underwood's not coming. Look at LSU's high-powered passing offense and look at, Michigan's Mickey Mouse offense.
Amen. Amen. So I got this one 45-10. Bryce Underwood's not going to Michigan. He's going to LSU for sure. Ducks win this one 45-10. Moving on to the last and final topic of the night, man. The playoff rankings are right around the corner. They drop in November every year, and I believe they're dropping next Tuesday. If they're not, it'll be the following Tuesday. But either way, if they are dropping next Tuesday, I want to hear your top 4. I'm going to give my top 4 here off the jump, give you a little time to think about it, maybe dwell. You might actually have the same top 4. I imagine you probably will. But here are my top 4. Of course, you heard my Oregon score 45-10. They remain the nation's #1 team. The Georgia Bulldogs check in at number 2. They will not be there come the end of the season or SEC championship weekend, but they are for now, in my humble opinion. I know you disagree. Ohio State is winning this weekend. They jump up 1 spot to the 3 spot. And then a team I love to hate, the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. They are your ACC representative most likely, unless Clemson has something to say about it, which they might do it. But for now, the Miami Hurricanes are number 4 team in my initial playoff rankings.
All right. So I have Oregon, Miami.
Ooh.
Well, no.
Okay, I can see that.
I'm just giving you my 4. I'm not going to do any
Okay,
order. I'm not giving you any
sure.
order yet. I'm just
Okay.
throwing my 4 out there. So Oregon,
Okay.
Miami, Georgia. I don't have Ohio State in there.
You don't, even though we're 4th in the AP.
No, I just don't. I don't.
They drop us.
I mean, matter of the fact is they're still going to be in the college football playoff if they get it done. But I just don't have them being one of those top 4 teams unless they get to the Big Ten championship and get their revenge against Oregon. That's the only way I see them being a top 4 team and possibly getting a bye.
Well, yeah, the top 4 seeds are your conference champions, automatic qualifiers. So they have to win the Big Ten to get the top 4 seed. But these initial rankings aren't going to reflect conference champions. So that's why I have because I was pulling up the top 25, and I'm looking at one-loss teams and undefeated teams. The next undefeated team after Miami is BYU. They're not going to be top 4. Iowa State, they're not going to be top 4. Indiana, they'll be top 10, but they're not going to be top 4. And Pitt, they're 18th right now. They're not going to be top 4. So that's why I have the Buckeyes being the second representative from the Big Ten in the top 4 initial playoff rankings. Just a thought. Maybe I could be wrong. Texas could be 4. You could put Texas at 4.
I say Georgia. I think the two SEC teams who have a good chance of being in the top 4, Georgia and Texas.
What's the better win? Georgia at Texas or Oregon versus Ohio State?
Man, you know what, dude? I think you know what? I'm sorry, but I think that Georgia versus Texas is the bigger one. They went.
I agree.
It was an away game too for Georgia. Yep. They just went in there. They completely demolished them.
They did too. They did.
It was
and
bad.
They didn't even play their best game either. They didn't.
No, they didn't.
So that I agree with you on that one. It's slightly better win. It's a slightly better win, but that's what I have for the top 4, man. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, we're going to do some kind of reaction to the college football playoff initial rankings, whether there be a live stream on Tuesday night or just a regular, short recap video for you guys to enjoy. We'll talk about that off camera, but yeah, man, that's what I got for tonight. I'd like to keep on going, but I honestly don't have any more content to share. If you do, go for it, Mahmoud.
So I was looking at the potential college football playoff rankings.
Yeah.
For some reason, they have Alabama coming in at 7.
Damn, are you serious?
I don't agree with that. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, they lost Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt's a new improved team, and they're actually giving good SEC teams run for their money. But then they lost to Tennessee. From what I read, they're going on strength of schedule, and I mean, I guess quality losses. I mean, if you want to call, top 25 loss to Vanderbilt a quality loss, then sure. But I just think it's a bunch of SEC bias, man.
It's just some SEC bias.
From the ESECPN, man.
You know it. Do you have Indiana making the top 10 of the initial rankings or no?
They should.
They definitely should.
They should.
9 or 10 spot for sure.
Right now they have them one spot looking in at 13th, which I don't agree with at all.
I don't get it, bro.
If anything, they should take Alabama's spot. They should.
They should be in the top 10, I think, not just the top 12, the top 10 of the initial rankings. But we'll see what kind of cowards they are or what kind of gonads they got. We're going to find out. We'll see. But hopefully the Hoosiers, when they come to town, are a top 10 opponent November 23rd, bro. You and I were looking at that game. I'm actually going to be in Columbus the following weekend for the Michigan game. I'm not going to the game, most likely. Definitely not, but I'll be in Columbus for the game and just getting the atmosphere and doing some live coverage from downtown Columbus and from the Horseshoe. So
I may the last minute go to Ohio State, Indiana. Right now, tickets are going for $65.
They're really cheap.
$65 a ticket. Really ticket. It's more likely going to be a top 10 matchup, a good game.
They're cheap. So, consider it, man. Consider it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Well,
all right, you guys. I'll be in Happy Valley this weekend. I'm going to be going to the Ohio State Penn State game, top 4 matchup. I'm not going to be doing a live video, but I'll post a video to here on the experience. Peter will be at the Oregon Michigan game. He'll be posting video for that. Hopefully it's of Wolverine fans leaving early, but we'll see. But in the meantime, thank you for your constant support of this channel. Click like and subscribe. We go live every Thursday night at 8:30. So we'll see you then. Until next time.
All right. Go Bucks and God bless. We'll see you on the next one.